meeting of the Union County Board of Trustees tonight. I'd like to ask Mark Ivy, would he bring the invocation and the pledge, please?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day. Father, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. Lord, to take care of the business for Union County schools and our students, Lord, our staff, Father, our teachers, our administrators. Lord, I pray that what we say and do here will bring honor, Lord, to your name and be in the best interest of all those involved. Lord, I pray that you will just redeem us of our time and help us to make good decisions. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Ivy. Dr. All, due to a family emergency, he's not going to be able to be here with us right at the start of the meeting. We'll try to come a little bit later on. But you wanted me to serve as chair tonight and be the vice chair, and she asked me to, it's pleasure of the board to let Mr. James Will serve as vice chair. Have a motion for Mr. Hart, second Mr. Ivy. Any questions? Mr. Betty?
Mr. Hart?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jeter?
Yes.
Mr. Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McMorris?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Wells? You want to vote? You okay with that? Mr. Lipsy?
Yes, ma'am.
The motion is approved.
Try this one.
Betty, we have a confirmation.
Yes, sir.
Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
So, motion by Mr. Hart, second by Mr. Massey. Any questions? Okay.
Mr. Hart? Mr. Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jeter? Mr. Morris?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Wells?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Lipsy?
Yes, ma'am.
The motion is approved.
The next is approval of minutes of the 9/19 meeting. Do I hear a motion to accept that?
So moved.
Second. Motion, Mr. Ivy, Mr. Hart. Any discussion? Any discussion on the meeting? Okay.
Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hart?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cohen? Mr. Jeter?
Yes.
Mr. Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McMorris?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Wells?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Lipsy?
Yes, ma'am.
The motion is approved.
The next item that we can do is
Yes, that one.
No addendum. Next on our agenda is instruction department, Dr. Burke.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. In your packets, you see that we have the Union County School District numbers of students that have withdrawn to attend virtual online programs, education programs online. Our total number is 36 for the 2019-2020 school year, with a breakdown being 13 students from our high school, 8 students from Sims Middle, 9 students from Jonesville Elementary Middle, 4 students from Monarch, 2 students from Foster Park. There was a question at our last meeting which included information wanting to have that, and we have it for you today. Are there any questions?
I don't know if either one of you knows this. Do you know how many we had last year? What the trend may be? Yes, we get that.
We definitely can get that, but we do not have that information.
Okay. Thank you.
As you see, the high numbers are always higher in high school.
Right.
Sometimes our students get to a point where they can work more independently, and these programs call for that type of support. Thank you so very much.
Thanks, sir. About homeschooling, do you have any clue about homeschooling?
We do not have that information in the packet. We only included the virtual online schooling, but I do have those numbers in my office, and I definitely can get them to you. Because we did look at them, but we wanted to be specific to answer the question in which you wanted. But we do have those online numbers, the homeschool numbers.
Thank you very much.
I'll get them to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ross, here, I'll.
Ms. Thomas? Finance.
Good evening. In the packet that you received, you have the financial review of the general fund budget of July 1st through September 16th. Our total revenue received year to date is $3,064,165. And this revenue includes the addition of $16,223.67. This payment is new for this year and reflects a tax rollback of assessment to manufacturing, and it's called the Property Valuation Exemption Reimbursement Program. According to the Treasurer's Office, this payment will be included in the manufacturer depreciation revenue for fiscal year 2021. The total expenditures for September were $2,152,033, and they're composed of payroll and benefits of $923,013, operating expense of $1,226,020, The overall positive effect to net operations is $912,132. On page 2, we have our revenue report, which shows that to date, we have 10.1% of the revenue budget collected. Page 3 is the detail of the expenditures from August 21st to September 16th. And there have been no changes to the expenditure budgets. Page 4, for your review, is a listing of all expenditures over $5,000. Do you have any questions?
Dr. Wilkes?
Is this keeping in line with what we usually have this time of year?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions for Ms. Thomas? Ms. Thomas? Mr. Stribble, personnel.
First item is Administrative Rule JHCB-R. The School Board Association, in looking at Section J that we sent in, there was one part of the administrative rule that we did not address. If you look at the very bottom, this is for release time for religious instruction. We did not address how many weeks or how far in advance the superintendent's office had to receive applications. We put a note in there 2 weeks prior to the requested start date. I believe that clears up the only last issue for a complete school board manual overhaul or update.
Any questions for Mr. Stribble regarding the policy? Dr. Wilkes?
I just have to ask you, what does 4.5 hours/minutes per week mean?
We went with one block at a time and just did.
So it's 4.5 hours per week.
Yeah, we need to correct that. We'll correct that too.
Any other questions regarding
And then we have 2 field trips. One is an overnight field trip that was in your packet. That's for the ROTC to go to Patriots Point and Mount Pleasant, October 4th and 5th. And then the second field trip at your desk is for our fishing club. This is a field trip that covers their tournaments, and they're listed in your packet, the dates of the tournaments. It starts September 28th and goes all the way through, looks like April 25th.
We have a motion from Mr. Hart to approve both, and a second from Dr. Wells. Is there any further discussion regarding the field trips prior to the vote? Mr. Jeter?
Who's helping this?
Say that again.
Who's working with this?
He has 6 other parents and volunteers that are helping with this. And the 6 others are all already on the approved list. Some of them are parents and some of them are community people, looks like, that have an interest in fishing and helping out.
Mr. Massey?
Is Mr. Duncan still heading this?
My understanding is Mr. McGee is heading it up. Is what he's given indication to me. I think Mr. Duncan is helping a lot.
So he's the person directing what you're saying. Mr. McGee.
He's the one I've been communicating with about the field trips.
Thank you.
Any further question regarding the field trips prior to the vote? Seeing no indication, Ms. Pettit?
Mr. Hart?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Wilks?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cullen? Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jeter?
Yes.
Mr. Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McMorris?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lipsy?
Yes, ma'am.
And Dr. Hall?
Yes, ma'am.
The motion is approved.
And I believe my last item is after executive session.
Yes, sir. I believe it is. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
I have a motion from Mr. Jeter,
Second.
second from Mr. Massey. Ms. Pettit, call the roll, please.
Mr. Jeter? Mr. Massey?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cullen? Mr. Hart? Mr. Ivy?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McMorris?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Wilks?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lipsy?
Yes, ma'am.
And Dr. Hall?
Yes, ma'am.
The motion is approved.
Thank you.
6:43.
So at 6:43, the board is entering into executive session for discussion of 3 personnel matters.